Good morning, magandang umaga. Maayong buntag, participants. Welcome to the day 2 of our Maslinet 6 General Assembly Meeting and Seminar Workshop with the theme Contactless User Services for SWOOC Libraries with a Union Catalog, the role of research librarians in innovating and securing resources for knowledge development during a pandemic. Naway maganda ang bungad ng ating umaga ngayon. Mga participants, kaway-kaway dyan sa chat box. Chat nyo lang magandang buhay and then kung saan kayo galing na school. So for example, magandang buhay from Zamboanga Peninsula Polytechnic State University. Tingnan natin kung gaano ba kaganda yung mga buhay natin today. No? So let's use the chat box. So before anything else, if you have questions pala sa ating speaker mamaya, which will be introduced later on. So I will just use the chat box and we will accommodate all your questions right after the speaker. So wag na tayong magpatumpik-tumpik pa. So let's start our session today. So our first speaker is a holder of a doctoral degree in management from Notre Dame of the Dangas University, where he was given the highest honors for garnering a GPA of A+. He is a national champion, extemporaneous speaker, and a champion debater, orator, declaimer, and speller. He is the 2013 Philippine Youth Ambassador of Goodwill during the Ship for Southeast Asian Youth Program, a 52-day cruise ship tour to Japan and to Southeast Asian countries. Currently, He is the designated as the section chief of the Human Resource Development section. He is also designated as the Division Gender and Development Coordinator of the Department of Education Schools Division Office of General Santos City. He is also a visiting professor at NDDU and MSU graduate schools, teaching master's and doctoral subject. He is a recipient of 3 gold medals from MSU Jensen in March 2005 for University Leadership Award, University's Distinction Community Service, and University Distinction in Public Speaking. I am very proud to introduce to our first speaker for today, Dr. John Michael P. Castino.
Good morning. Sir, Mike. Wala kayong mic. We cannot hear you, sir. Can you refresh your browser? Refresh lang, sir. Refresh yung browser.
Okay, magandang so there's some technical issues, no? So we're still trying to fix the issue. So for now, no, let's read the chat box. So magandang buhay. Wow, magandang buhay talaga. Lahat tayo may magandang buhay. Thank God for this beautiful day. I hope nag-breakfast na kayo. Sa hindi pa nag-breakfast, kumain na kasi breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So, let's wait for a moment. There is a technical issue with the audio of our speaker. May kaon ako, sir. So, hindi pa kumakain dyan, kain na kayo. Busugin natin ang ating mga araw para ma-internalize natin yung topic, yung mga sasabihin ng ating magigiting na mga speakers for today. Okay, I think Dr. Castino has joined the room. Sir? I think they're still fixing the audio. So okay. Sir, okay na po.
Sir? Okay na po ba ang audio
Thank you.
ko?
Okay na po, sir.
Salamat.
Okay, sige
Magandang
po.
umaga sa lahat. Pasensya na po.
Good morning to the members and officials of the Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools Library Network, or MASLINET. This year's MASLINET online conference and assembly is held with the theme, Contactless User Services for State Universities and Colleges Libraries with a Union Catalog. The role of research librarians in innovating and securing resources for knowledge development during a pandemic. I am your speaker, Dr. John Michael Pellegrino Castino, MPA, designated as a Senior Education Program Specialist for Human Resource Development at the Schools Division Office of General Santos City. This morning, I will speak about Revisiting the Code of Professional Ethics for Public Servants with a subtitle, Local and National Reflective Situation from Workplaces and Associations. When we speak about this topic, we have to revisit, of course, Republic Act number 6713 with a long title, An Act Establishing a Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees to uphold the time-honored principle of public office being a public trust, granting incentives and rewards for exemplary service, enumerating prohibited acts and transactions, and providing penalties for violations thereof and for other purposes. The legal basis of Republic Act number 6713 is, of course, the 1987 Philippine Constitution. This act has 15 sections from title to separability clause, which I'm going to discuss in details later. The short title of this act is the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. Let's proceed to Section 2, the Declaration of Policies. It is the policy of the state to promote a high standard of ethics in public service. Public officials and employees shall at all times be accountable to the people and shall discharge their duties with utmost responsibility, integrity, competence, and loyalty, act with patriotism and justice, lead modest lives, and uphold public interests over personal interests. And this is in line with the government's desire to achieve good governance characterized by accountability, predictability, people's participation, and transparency. These are the four components of governance advocated by the Asian Development Bank. Now, in order for us to unlock the difficulties and contextualize the terms used in this act, let's take the definition of the key terms used in this act. Government. It includes the national government, the local governments from provinces to barangays, and all other instrumentalities, agencies, or branches of the Republic of the Philippines, including GOCCs, or the government-owned or controlled corporations and their subsidiaries, who are the public officials according to the Act. Public officials includes elective and appointive officials and employees, permanent or temporary, whether in the career or non-career service, including military and police personnel, whether or not they receive compensation regardless of amount. Gift. It refers to a thing or a right to dispose of gratuitously or any act or liberality in favor of another who accepts it, and shall include a simulated sale or an ostensibly onerous disposition thereof. It shall not include an unsolicited gift of nominal or insignificant value, not given in anticipation of or in exchange for a favor from a public official or employee. Now, what are the factors in determining the morality of gift giving? First, the value of the gift. Second, the purpose of the gifts. Third, the circumstances under which the gift was given or received, and the position between or the relationship of the giver and receiver. Let's take a look at value of the gift. Is the gift nominal or substantial enough to influence a business decision? Is a gift valuable? If the gift is valuable or substantial, then it becomes unethical. Say, for example, you're given a car, that is a valuable gift. But if you're just given a cake, it is something that is nominal, provided a gift is not a luxurious cake. What is the purpose of gifts? If the gift is not intended to be or received as bribe and remains nominal, there does not appear any serious problem. Gift with imprinted name of the giver may be considered as a form of advertisement. Say, for example, you're given a mug or a fan with the name and the face of the giver. Circumstances under which the gift was given or received. Gift given during special occasions or events. Unattached to special events. Gifts given openly or secretly. And the position between or relationship of the giver and receiver. The donor-receiver relationship. Question: could a recipient's opinion influence decision result in favor of the donor? If so, it becomes unethical. And the superior-subordinate relationship. Receiving any gift includes the act of accepting, directly or indirectly, a gift from a person other than a member of his family or relative as defined in this act. Even on the occasion of a family celebration or national festivity like Christmas, if the value of the gift is neither nominal nor insignificant, or the gift is given in anticipation of or in exchange for, obviously, a favor. What is a loan? Loan covers both simple loan and comodatum as well as guarantees, financing arrangements, or accommodations intended to ensure its approval. Sixth term, substantial stockholder. It means any person who owns, directly or indirectly, shares of stock sufficient to elect a director of a corporation. This term shall also apply to the parties to a voting trust. Family of public official or employees refers to their spouses and unmarried children under 18 years of age. Person. It could be a natural or juridical person unless the context indicates otherwise. Conflict of interest. When does it arise? It arises when a public official or employee is a member of a board, an officer, or a substantial stockholder of a private corporation or owner, or has a substantial interest in a business, and the interest of such corporation or business, or his rights or duties therein, may be opposed to or affected by the faithful performance of official duty. Question: what is conflict of interest? When it is illegal. Say, for example, in the public sector, judges must recuse themselves if there is a relationship with one of the parties in a case. If the legislator attempts to profit from knowledge, this is an example of insider trading. In the case of private businesses, if a company has proof that a board member profited from their role on the board, the board member can be taken to court. Examples: nepotism, giving favors to relatives and close friends; self-dealing, when someone acts in their own interest rather than the interest of the organization. So these are examples of conflict of interest. Divestment. It's a transfer of title or disposal of interest in property by voluntarily, completely, and actually depriving or dispossessing oneself of his right or title to it in favor of a person or persons other than his spouse and relatives as defined in this act. Relatives refers to any and all persons related to a public official or employee within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity or affinity, including bilas, inso, and balae. Take note, we're talking about consanguinity and affinity. Let's now discuss section 4 on the norms of conduct of public officials and employees. These 8 norms of conduct of public officials and employees are essential in making the write-up for any nominee to the Dangal ng Bayan Award under the Honor Awards Program of the Civil Service Commission, which I'm going to discuss later on. It says, every public official and employee shall observe the following as standards of personal conduct in the discharge and execution of official duties. A, or number 1, commitment to public interest. Public officials and employees shall always uphold the public interest over and above personal interest. All government resources and powers of the respective offices must be employed and used efficiently, effectively, honestly, and economically, particularly to avoid wastage in public funds and revenues. That's number one, commitment to public interest. Second, professionalism. Public officials and employees shall perform and discharge their duties with the highest degree of excellence, professionalism, intelligence, and skill. They shall enter public service with utmost devotion and dedication to duty. They shall endeavor to discourage wrong perceptions of their roles as dispensers or peddlers of undue patronage. That's how to be professional in public service. Third, justness and sincerity. Public officials and employees shall remain true to the people at all times. They must act with justness and sincerity and shall not discriminate against anyone, especially the poor and the privileged. Because we have this saying, those who have less in life should have much with the law. They shall at all times respect the rights of others and shall refrain from doing acts contrary to law, good morals, good customs, public policy, public order, public safety, and public interest. Fourth norm, political neutrality. Public officials and employees shall provide service to everyone without unfair discrimination and regardless of party affiliation or preference, and that's self-explanatory. Fifth, responsiveness to the public. Public officials and employees shall extend prompt, courteous, and adequate service to the public. Nationalism and patriotism. Public officials and employees shall at all times be loyal to the Republic and to the people, the Filipino people. Promote the use of locally produced goods, resources, and technology, and encourage appreciation and pride of country and people. They shall endeavor to maintain and defend Philippine sovereignty against foreign intrusion. Commitment to democracy. Public officials and employees shall commit themselves to the democratic way of life and values, maintain the principle of public accountability, and manifest by deeds the supremacy of civilian authority over the military. That is why the Philippine President is the Commander-in-Chief of the Philippine Army, Philippine Navy, and the Marines, as well as the Philippine Air Force. That signifies the supremacy of civilian authority over the military, the Philippine President being the representative of the people. They shall at all times uphold the Constitution and put loyalty to country above loyalty to persons or party. That's why there is this politician who said, my loyalty to my party ends where my loyalty to my country begins. And the eighth norm, simple living. Public officials and employees and their families shall lead modest lives appropriate to their positions and income. They shall not indulge in extravagant or ostentatious display of wealth in any form. In summary, the 8 norms of conduct of public officials and employees are the following. 1. Commitment to public interest. 2. Professionalism. 3. Justness and sincerity. 4. Political neutrality. 5. Responsiveness to the public. 6. Nationalism and patriotism. 7. Commitment to democracy. And 8. Simple living. Now, what is the role of the Civil Service Commission in ensuring that these 8 norms of conduct of public officials and employees are exhibited by these public servants? B. The Civil Service Commission shall adopt positive measures to 1. To promote the observance of these standards, including the dissemination of information programs and workshops authorizing merit increases beyond regular progression steps to a limited number of employees recognized by their office colleagues to be outstanding in their observance of ethical standards. And that is embedded in the Dangal ng Bayan Award, or the search for the most outstanding public officials and employees under the HAP, or the Honor Awards Program, which is an annual search spearheaded by the Civil Service Commission. Second, to promote continuing research and experimentation and measures which provide positive motivation to public officials and employees in raising the general level of observance of these standards as manifested by the officials and employees, as be it by individual or groups, through their innovative ideas and innovations, as well as technology introduced in governmental processes. Section 5, the duties of public officials and employees. In the performance of their duties, all public officials and employees are under obligation to A, act promptly on letters and requests. All public officials and employees shall, within 15 working days from receipt thereof, respond to telegrams, letters, and other means of communications sent by the public. The reply must contain the action taken on the request. But currently, Congress passed law entitled Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018, which was approved by the President of the Republic of the Philippines. It is numbered RA 11032, otherwise known as the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018. The law seeks to increase efficiency by reducing processing time, eliminating red tape, and curbing corrupt bureaucratic practices. Under this law, there is a classification of the types of transactions and the corresponding processing time. If it is considered a simple transaction, it will just entail 3 days. If it is a complex transaction, it will entail 7 days. And if it is considered a highly technical transaction, it entails 20 days. What are the duties of public officials and employees? To submit annual performance reports. All heads or other responsible officers of offices and agencies of the government and of government-owned or controlled corporations, or GOCCs, shall, within 45 working days from the end of the year, render a performance report of the agency or office or corporation concerned. Such report shall be open and available to the public within regular office hours. And we know that there are 4 organizational resources, which include human, financial, physical, and technological resources. So the reports will primarily revolve around those 4 organizational resources. C, process documents and papers expeditiously. All official papers and documents must be processed and completed within a reasonable time from the preparation thereof, and must contain, as far as practicable or as far as doable, not more than 3 signatories therein. In the absence of duly authorized signatories, the official next in rank or officer in charge shall sign for and in their behalf. Under the Ease of Doing Business Act, which aims to eliminate red tape and improve efficiency, it defines red tape as any procedure that is ineffective or detrimental in achieving intended objectives and negatively affects social outcomes. What is a simple transaction under this act? It is a simple transaction when the request, when it refers to requests that only require ministerial action, simple approval. When the requests need evaluation, it is considered a complex transaction. But when the request requires technical knowledge or specialized skills, it is considered a highly technical application. I'm sure librarians here who are listening are processing transactions of different kind, so it's up to you to identify this transaction, whether it is simple, complex, or highly technical. Fourth, act immediately on the public's personal transactions. All public officials and employees must attend to anyone who wants to avail himself of the services of their offices and must at all times act promptly and expeditiously. Fifth, make documents accessible to the public. All public documents must be made accessible to and readily available for inspection by the public within reasonable working hours. So as librarians, we hold public documents, but of course we have to identify whether this public documents is immediately free to public's access or it is restricted and it requires highly technical, whether it requires highly technical knowledge or specialized skill, or the request needs evaluation. So it's the duty of the university librarian, being the chief librarian of the university, to identify the type of transaction. Section 6, System of Incentives and Rewards. A system of annual incentives and rewards is hereby established in order to motivate and inspire public servants to uphold the highest standards of ethics. For this purpose, a committee on awards to outstanding public officials and employees is hereby created, composed of the following: the Ombudsman and Chairman of the Civil Service Commission as co-chairman or co-chairperson to be gender responsive, and the chairperson of the Commission on Audit, and the 2 government employees to be appointed by the President as members. The umbrella program, the name of the program is the HAP, the Honor Awards Program. What is this? The HAP seeks to recognize and reward state officials and employees for the outstanding contributions and achievements in government service, of which there are 2 types of award: the Presidential Lingkod Bayan Award and the Dangal ng Bayan Award. The Dangal ng Bayan Award is also known as the search for the most outstanding official and employees in the government. This is the poster of the Civil Service Commission announcing the opening of the search for outstanding government workers for the year 2021, the deadline of which was March 30, 2021. Let's now proceed to Section 7 and Section 8. This is the schematic diagram of Section 7 and Section 8. Section 7 talks about prohibited acts and transactions, be it financial and material interests, outside employment, disclosure and or misuse of confidential information, because employees in the government could be classified as a critical person or a critical person holding a critical position. Solicitation and acceptance of gifts. Section 8, on the other hand, talks about statements and disclosure, and that's where SALN and financial disclosure is being discussed. The filing of SALN and disclosure of business interests and financial connections, identification and disclosure of relatives working in the government, accessibility of these SALNs, these documents, and the prohibited acts. Let's discuss Section 7. The prohibited acts and transactions. The following shall constitute prohibited acts and transactions of any public official and employee and are hereby declared to be unlawful or illegal. A. Financial and material interest. Public officials and employees shall not, directly or indirectly, have any financial or material interest in any transaction requiring the approval of their office. B. Outside employment and other activities related thereto. Public officials and employees during their incumbency shall not: 1. Own, control, manage, or accept employment as officer, employee, consultant, counsel, broker, agent, trustee, or nominee in any private enterprise regulated, supervised, or licensed by their office unless expressly allowed by law. Number 2, engage in the private practice of their profession unless authorized by the Constitution or law. provided that such practice will not conflict or tend to conflict with their official functions. 3. Recommend any person to any position in a private enterprise which has a regular or pending official transaction with their office, because it will become quid pro quo or something for something. C. Disclosure and or misuse of confidential information. Public officials and employees shall not use or divulge confidential or classified information officially known to them by reason of their office and not made available to the public, either 1. To further their private interest or give undue advantage to anyone, or 2. To prejudice the public interest. That's what I talked about a while ago. A critical person holding a critical position. So we are not allowed to divulge confidential information in line with our work. D. Solicitation or acceptance of gifts. Public officials and employees shall not solicit or accept, directly or indirectly, any gift, gratuity, favor, entertainment, loan, or anything of monetary value from any person in the course of their official duties or in connection with any operation being regulated by or any transaction which may be affected by the functions of their office. As to gifts or grants from foreign governments, the Congress consents to, first, the acceptance and retention by a public official or employee of a gift of nominal value tendered and received as a souvenir or mark of courtesy. And we sometimes call this as token, diplomatic token. 2. The acceptance by a public official or employee of a gift in the nature of a scholarship or fellowship grant or medical treatment. Or the acceptance by a public official or employee of travel grants or expenses for travel taking place entirely outside the Philippines, such as allowances, transportation, food, and lodging, of more than nominal value if such acceptance is appropriate or consistent with the interests of the Republic of the Philippines and permitted by the head of office, branch, or agency to which he or she belongs. Statement and disclosure, Section 8. Public officials and employees have an obligation to accomplish and submit declarations under oath of, and the public has the right to know, their assets, liabilities, net worth, and financial and business interests, including those of their spouses and of unmarried children under 18 years of age living in their households. Let's talk about SALN. Statements of assets and liabilities and financial disclosure. All public officials and employees, except those who serve in an honorary capacity, laborers, and casual or temporary workers, well, our JOs, job order, shall file under oath their statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth, and a disclosure of business interests and financial connections, and those of their spouses and unmarried children under 18 years of age living in their households. Again, I would like to reiterate that the people who are exempted from filing SALNs are the following: employees in the government who are serving in an honorary capacity, laborers, and the casual or temporary workers. The two documents shall contain information on the following: A. Real property, its improvements, acquisition costs, assessed value, and current fair market value. B. Personal property and acquisition cost. C. All other assets such as investments, cash on hand or in banks, stocks, bonds. D. Liabilities. And E. All business interests and financial connections. The documents must be filed within 30 days after assumption of office, on or before April 30 of every year thereafter, and within 30 days after separation from the service. So this is in this wise. First, or the original appointment, that's A, or assumption of office. If there is a promotion, of course, you have to file for another SAL-N after receiving your promotion. Annual filing of SAL-N, that's what we are doing as regular employees of the government, and within 30 days after separation from the service. Separation could be in the form, of course, of optional retirement, mandatory retirement or forced retirement, and optional retirement or resignation from office. Identification and disclosure of relatives. It shall be the duty of every public official or employee to identify and disclose, to the best of his knowledge and information, his relatives in the government in the form, manner, and frequency prescribed by the Civil Service Commission. C. Accessibility of documents. 1. Any and all statements filed under this Act shall be made available for inspection at reasonable hours. So this is the phase of the SAL-N, Sworn Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth, revised as of January 2015 per Civil Service Resolution number 150088, promulgated on January 23, 2015. These are the parts. We have here the preliminary parts, the basic information of the declarant, unmarried children below 18 years of age living in declarant's household, assets, liabilities, and net worth, classified into assets, be it real properties, personal properties, then the liabilities, personal debt, housing loan, contract to sell, and GSIS multipurpose loan. We also have the business interests and financial connections, relatives in the government service. That's page 2. Page 3 of the document includes the continuation of the assets, liabilities, and net worth. Then we have here the business interests and financial connections, if there are still other entries. Statements and disclosure. Such statements shall be made available for copying or reproduction after 10 working days from the time they are filed as required by law. Number 3, any person requesting a copy of a statement shall be required to pay a reasonable fee to cover the cost of reproduction and mailing of such statement, as well as the cost of certification. 4, any statement filed under this Act shall be available to the public for a period of 10 years after receipt of the statement. After such period, the statement may be destroyed unless needed in an ongoing investigation. Remember, there is this Supreme Court Chief Justice who was investigated for the non-submission of SAL-Ns for the past 10 years, which was the requirement then by the Judicial and Bar Council. The prohibited acts. It shall be unlawful for any person to obtain or use any statement filed under this Act for A, any purpose contrary to morals or public policy. B, any commercial purpose other than by news and communications media for dissemination to the general public. Question: as an administrative offense, what is the penalty of the failure to file a sworn SAL-N? Answer: under Rule 10 of the 2017 Rules on Administrative Cases in the Civil Service, or the 2017 RACs, failure to file sworn statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth, and disclosure of business interests and financial connections, including those of one's spouse and unmarried children under 18 years of age living in one's household, is considered a less grave offense. The act is punishable by suspension of 1 month and 1 day to 6 months for the first offense, and dismissal from service for the second offense. That's very clear under the 2017 RACs. But of course, with the observance of the due process of law. When I say due process, both procedural and substantive due process. Let's take a look at what happened to the Coranto petition against former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. On May 11, 2018, Friday, the Supreme Court ousted Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno with an 8-6 vote. The Supreme Court en banc granted a Coranto petition removing Sereno on grounds of failure to submit the SAL-N. The 8 associate justices that voted for the Coranto were Teresita Leonardo de Castro, Diosdado Peralta, Lucas Bersamin, et al. Those that voted against the Coranto include Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio and the following Associate Justices Presbitero Velasco Jr., Mariano del Castillo, et al. Of those in the Supreme Court, 9 justices agreed that there was a violation in the requirements on the SAL-N, and the same number also ruled that Coranto was the appropriate plan of action to oust Sereno. Of the 9 justices, Velasco voted to dismiss the Coranto, but agreed that Coranto was the appropriate solution, except that it was premature. This is the final decision of the Supreme Court en banc. This is the dispositive portion. Wherefore, the petition for Coranto is granted. Respondent Maria Lourdes P.A. Sereno is found disqualified from and is hereby adjudged guilty of unlawfully holding and exercising the office of the Chief Justice. Accordingly, Respondent Maria Lourdes P.A. Sereno is ousted and excluded therefrom. What is really the point here? The petition for Coranto obviously questions the occupation of the office of the Supreme Court Chief Justice of then Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes P.A. Sereno on the ground that she is not qualified to hold the office because when she applied for the position with the Judicial and Bar Council, she lacked the required number of SAL-Ns, which is 10 years, total of 10 years. For that's filing of the SAL-N for the past 10 years, and that was the question, that since she was not able to submit 10 SAL-Ns, therefore she should be disqualified from applying for the position. And since she's already occupying the position of the Chief Justice, thus the petition for Coranto was filed by our Solicitor General. Section 9 on divestment. A public official or employee shall avoid conflicts of interest at all times. When a conflict of interest arises, he shall resign from his position in any private business enterprise within 30 days from his assumption of office, and or divest himself of his shareholdings or interest within 60 days from such assumption. Take note of number of days. If you occupy a public position, of course, you have to resign from your position in the private business enterprise within 30 days from your assumption of office. And if you happen to have a substantial shareholding in a private enterprise, you have to divest within 60 days from assumption to office. Question: as an administrative offense, what is the penalty of the failure to resign from one's position in the private business enterprise and or failure to divest oneself from one's shareholdings or interest in private business enterprise? This is the answer. Again, under Rule 10 of the 2017 Rules on Administrative Cases in the Civil Service, failure to resign from one's position in the private business enterprise within 30 days from assumption of public office when conflict of interest arises, and or failure to divest oneself from one's shareholdings or interest in private business enterprise within 60 days from assumption of public office when conflict of interest arises is considered a less grave offense. The act is punishable by suspension of 1 month and 1 day to 6 months for the first offense and dismissal from service for the second offense. Section 10, Review and Compliance Procedure. A. The designated committees of both houses of the Congress shall establish procedures for the review of statements to determine whether said statements which have been submitted on time are complete and are in proper form. B. In order to carry out the responsibilities under this Act, the designated committees of both houses of Congress shall have the power within their respective jurisdictions to render any opinion interpreting this Act in writing to persons covered by this Act, subject in each instance to the approval by affirmative vote of the majority of the particular house concerned. C. The heads of other offices shall perform the duties stated in subsections A and B hereof, insofar as the respective offices are concerned, subject to the approval of the Secretary of Justice in the case of the Executive Department and the Chief of Justice of the Supreme Court in the case of the Judicial Department. Penalties. A. Any public official or employee, regardless of whether or not he holds office or employment in casual, temporary, holdover, permanent, or regular capacity, committing any violation of this Act shall be punished with a fine not exceeding the equivalent of 6 months' salary or suspension not exceeding 1 year, or removal depending on the gravity of the offense after due notice and hearing by the appropriate body or agency. B. Any violation hereof proven in a proper administrative proceeding shall be sufficient cause for removal or dismissal of a public official or employee, even if no criminal prosecution is instituted against him. And C. Private individuals who participate in conspiracy as co-principals, accomplices, or accessories with public officials or employees in violation of this Act shall be subject to the same penal liabilities as the public officials or employees and shall be tried jointly with them. B. The official or employee concerned may bring an action against any person who obtains or uses a report for any purpose prohibited by Section 8D of this Act, referring to paragraph D. The court in which such action is brought may assess against such person a penalty in any amount not to exceed 25,000 pesos. If another sanction hereunder or under any other law is heavier, the latter shall apply. Section 12. Promulgation of rules and regulations, administration and enforcement of this Act. The Civil Service Commission, or CSC, shall have the primary responsibility for the administration and enforcement of this Act. It shall transmit all cases for prosecution arising from violations of this Act to the proper authorities for appropriate action, provided, however, that it may institute such administrative actions and disciplinary measures as may be warranted in accordance with law. Section 13. Provisions for more stringent standards. Nothing in this Act shall be construed to derogate from any law or any regulation prescribed by any body or agency which provides for more stringent standards for its official and employees. That's very clear. Section 14 on appropriations. The sum necessary for the effective implementation of this Act shall be taken from the appropriations of the Civil Service Commission. Thereafter, such sum as may be needed for its continued implementation shall be included in the annual GAA, or General Appropriations Act. Section 15, Separability Clause. If any provision of this Act or the application of such provision to any person or circumstance is declared invalid, the remainder of the Act or the application of such provision to other persons or circumstances shall not be affected by such declaration. In ending, I would like to say this to all of you, that what may be legal is not necessarily ethical. And what may be ethical is not necessarily illegal. But in the question at bar, we have to follow RA 6713, otherwise known as the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees, because this is the Bible of all government officials and employees in the of course in the government. This is the gold standard on how we should dispense our duties and responsibilities, how we should dispense our oath of office. And as I've said a while ago, this is closely related to the Honors Award program of the Civil Service Commission. Because if you aspire to be awarded with one of the HAP awards, which refers to the Dangal ng Bayan Award, you should exhibit the 8 norms of conduct for public officials and employees. Thank you so much to the Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools Library Network, or MASLINET, for your kind invitation for me to help you revisit the code of conduct for public officials and employees. And I am open for questions during the plenary. See you in the plenary. If you have questions, just ask the questions, and I would willingly answer those questions. In ending, I would like to say this. I urge you to draw from the depths of your being to prove that we are members of the human race, to prove that in this time of pandemic, our love outweighs our need to hate. Our compassion is more compelling than our need to blame others for their mistakes. That our sensitivity to the sufferings of others is stronger than our greed and selfishness. That our capacity to reason overcomes our fears, especially our fears brought about by this COVID-19 situation, so that at the end of our lives, we can all look back and say that we have treated others with a kindness, dignity, and respect that each one deserves. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much, Dr. Castino, for that very comprehensive presentation, sir. Indeed, no, it's very important to revisit those professional ethics for public servants, because whether we like it or not, sometimes we tend to forget about this. Siguro dahil na rin sa dahil sa work or any personal reasons. So thank you, sir, for sharing your time with us. And now we will proceed to the question and answer portion of this program. Sir, so we have some questions. So an anonymous participant sent this question, sir. I will read the question. The first question is it prohibited if we accept services free of charge, especially in book fairs? Sellers also provide free meals, etc.
Thank you, sir. Is my audio okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Well, as I've said, we have to classify gifts, whether it is nominal or substantial. If it is just a simple merienda and it is not that expensive, then I don't think it is illegal. Sir Gary Bastida also asked here, related to that question about gifts. Gifts are not all the time illegal as long as it is not for bribery. Against Doc Gary, we have to contextualize the gift, whether it is substantial or nominal. Alam naman natin, pag sinabi natin substantial, binigyan ka ng pera, tapos 100,000 or 50,000, malaking pera yun. Pero kung sa mga book fairs lang naman, merienda lang, chowking, simple chowking, or binigyan ka ng cake na red ribbon, 500 pesos lang naman yan. Ang pinakamahal, less than 1,000. So I don't think it is something that is in question. But if it is given in anticipation of a favor, well, that is where there is a legal question. Again, what is legal is not necessarily ethical, and what is ethical is not necessarily illegal. Sir, next question, please.
Thank you, sir. Another question, how can we stop booksellers from giving us favors? You know, the bookseller industry, they are trying to win the customers by giving prohibited act items or money. That's the question, sir.
Well, it is a question that calls for your own ethical judgment. It's a judgment call. If the booksellers would like to give you a substantial favor, then at the very least, inform your university librarian. And if you happen to be the chief librarian of the university or in the state college, inform the university president. Try to formalize it in a form of donation. A donation for, say, for example, cart. Kasi kailangan natin ng push carts. Katulad sa supermarket, kasi mabibigat ang mga libro. Or they will like to donate for bookshelves. We have to formalize everything. But if it is a matter of a simple gift, a simple token, then I believe your conscience will not be your enemy there. But if it involves a substantial favor, then that is where your conscience sets in. Sir?
Thank you, sir, for the answer. I guess you have answered already some questions in the chat box.
Yes, I did, sir.
Yes, sir. But I think I will just read it for those who didn't read the chat box. The question is RA 9485 or ARTA of 2007 no longer be applicable today? Because it seems that most of the principles of RA 9485 was also under the ease of business law.
Well, as I've said, it is not rescinded. It is a separate law. If the Ease of Doing Business Act says that some provisions of the ARTA are rescinded, then they will be rescinded. But I don't think that the entire ARTA is rescinded by the Ease of Doing Business Act. I remember in 2018, we applied for ISO certification in our division, and that was the question that we have to address. And what our legal officer did was, and our administrative officer did, was to integrate both the provisions of ARTA and the Ease of Doing Business Act in our Citizens Charter. I hope you will also do the same.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Another question, sir, from anonymous participant. Is it okay for a single librarian to fall in love with his workmate?
Workmate, provided there is no superior subordinate relationship. if the position is linear, I don't think that there is a problem. But when you are in love with someone and it involves office romance, that is where the problem sets in.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that, sir. Any questions, participants?
If I may answer, remember
Yes,
the
sir.
rule, there should be any office romance. Huwag magkalat sa sariling bakuran.
Sorry. Sorry, sir. True, very true.
Bakit sorry? Ikaw ang na-in-love ka, sir?
Ay, hindi na.
Just kidding.
Natatawa kasi ako sa questions.
Okay lang,
Okay,
I will
another
answer the question.
Any other questions from the participants? Any questions, everyone? Okay, so if none, so let's proceed with the awarding of Certificate of Appreciation to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Castino, sir. Thank you so much for that very comprehensive presentation. Allow me to read the citation. Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools Incorporated through Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools Library Network, MASLANET, One Vision, One Access, One Mindanao presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. John Michael P. Castino in recognition and appreciation of his invaluable contribution as resource speaker during the MASLANET 6th General Assembly meeting and seminar workshop with the theme Contactless User Services for SOOC Libraries with a Union Catalog. The role of research librarians in innovating and securing resources for knowledge development during a pandemic, held on 19th of May 2021 via WebinarJam. Thank you so much, sir, and we hope to see you again in our next webinar. Thank you for that very wonderful presentation.
Thank you
God
so
bless.
much, sir. Would I be permitted to leave the loop?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, especially to the officers of Maslinet, Dr. Nelson P. Cabral, of the University President of Zamboanga Peninsula Polytechnic State University, and Ma'am Winda of USEP. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. God bless. So at this juncture, no, we will call in the representative from CE Logic Incorporated for a product presentation.
Easy access to hundreds of local academic journals is something many of us desire. The Philippine e-Journals provides a collection of publications from higher educational institutions and professional organizations.
Users may browse, read, download, and share abstracts and journals in different academic disciplines like science, humanities, and engineering from any device. It also allows users to filter search results by author, journal, or accreditation. As a platform that promotes research done by Filipinos, users can also enjoy Philippine e-journals as contributors.
It makes research more convenient, cost-effective, and provides online visibility and exposure of Filipino research to the international research community.
Join our growing community and let's research and contribute together.
Contact us today and ask about your free 30-day trial.
See, Logi, can you turn on your mic and your cam? Do you have any presentation? Okay, you can share your screen, do it again, then look for the file. Look for the file. Yes, good morning. Yes.
Sir, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay,
So go to your slide.
okay.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Okay. By the way, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Maxwell. Initially, our presenter is Miss Evie Fuentes. However, he has to go somewhere very important. That's why I have to take over for with this presentation. Okay, we are tasked to present to you our product, which is Philippine e-journals. But before we proceed with the actual product presentation, I would like to introduce ourselves. Who are we at CE Logic? We are actually an affiliate of CNA Publishing. We were established last 2007. Basically, we provide e-learning and e-business solutions to academic or special libraries nationwide. Basically, our motto is revolutionizing tomorrow's education today. So our product are mainly focused on the library. We provide online learning resources. We improve physical appearances of the libraries. So this is our team of CE Logic Mindanao. For our partners, partner institutions or SUCs and LUCs in Northern Mindanao, you may contact Jade for queries. For the Davao region, you may contact Miss Evie. And for the whole Mindanao, you may contact me, Maxwell Cabreros, if you have questions or queries regarding our products. So we are three in our team, and we are actually hiring two more. This is to ensure that we will provide you with the best service that we can. Okay, so this only tells that C Logic is dedicated in providing the best services to you. Okay, so as a brief overview, so these are our products and partners. So we are in partnership with McGraw-Hill, Gale, which is a sandwich company, Elsevier, we distribute Clinical Key, Science Direct, and many others. Emerald Publishing also, and Oxford, Press Reader, Cited Digital Media eBooks, and many others, online data databases. For we don't only provide solutions to the library, we also provide solutions for the research department. We provide Grammarly. We are the exclusive distributor of Grammarly, PlugScan, Typeset, Orcon. So PlugScan and Orcon are our plagiarism checker, and Vivo is our statistical tool. Then Typeset is another research tool that we provide. Okay, so that's basically who we are as a company. Now let's proceed to the product that we will be introducing to you. I believe most of you, members of Mastinet, are very familiar with Philippine e-journals. Okay, so what is Philippine e-journals? Philippine e-journals is actually an expanding collection of academic and professional journals in the Philippines. So the driving motto of PEJ is basically to make researches or journals made by Filipinos available worldwide through the internet. So I would like to emphasize that the content of Philippine e-journals or all the journals indexed in PEJ are purely Filipino. Okay, so PEJ is a product of CNA Publishing. It is maintained by Kite and exclusively distributed by CE Logic. So what are the contents of PEJ? First, all journals in PEJ are scholarly in content and contains original research, and all of them are published in the Philippines. So these journals are coming from academic institutions as well as professional organizations. So if ever subscribe, what are the types of access that uh, PEJ will provide to the institution? The PEJ will provide you with remote access, meaning anywhere, anytime. The user can access the journals they want, and of course, PEJ will also provide IP authenticated access. Or if ever they are connected to the school Wi-Fi, there's no need for the admin credentials or for the login credentials. Login credentials will be needed for the remote access. So those are the two types of access that PEJ will be providing if ever you subscribe. That's IP address and remote access. Why subscribe to PEJ? Previously, the practice of researches or researchers in accessing local journals or journals made by different institutions or professional organizations is that they actually go to the school in which the specific journal was published or to the office of the organization in which the journal was actually published. But because of PEJ, it promotes Filipino research works because it the method of accessing journals are now more cost efficient because Filipino journals are now accessible through the internet. So you researchers don't need now to go to the different institutions or the different colleges or professional organizations to access their journals. Because currently we have 203 PEJ journals or titles indexed in PEJ. So these are some of our subscribers and what they have to say about the service and content of PEJ. So according to to University of Asia and the Pacific, it's accessible from the Romblon University and Colegio San Juan de Letran in Calamba. They said that the topics are collection of local researches, so local content. Then for Baliwag University, they said that the services is fast response to queries and free hosting of journals. Free hosting of journals because if you have current or past issues of your institutional journals, you can access it. You can have it indexed in PEJ. You may contact our solution specialist if you want to have your journals indexed in PEJ. So what are the key features of PEJ? So we have navigation. It's easily navigable. No, it's very user friendly. We will provide you with analytics, so usage report if ever subscribe, and global statistics. At a glance, here are the statistics or the current content of PEJ. 203 titles currently indexed in PEJ, and it's still expanding. Then we have 92 contributors, number of registered users at 38,000, then 100 more than 1,000 average downloads per day and more than 1,000 average reads per day. So again, if you want your journals to be indexed in PEJ, you can be assured that your journals will be accessed worldwide for wider readership. Okay, what PEJ looks like. So ito yung basically platform ni PEJ. It's very user friendly. There are some open access journals in PEJ. You may try to look at the platform or to access the open access journals in PEJ via ejournals.ph. Again, it's www.ejournals.ph if you want to access Philippine e-journals or to browse its platform. Okay, if you need more details regarding Philippine e-journals, yeah, you may contact our solution specialist here, Evie and Jade. Those are their cell phone numbers. Okay, again, for the website, it's ejournals.ph. Okay, do you have questions before we proceed with the last part of our presentation? Hello, sir.
I think, sir, Nan, you can proceed now, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next part of our presentation is the Q&A game. So basically, this is just a fun review of our presentation or what PEJ really is or what is the services or the content of PEJ. So this is just a fun way of somehow reviewing what we have presented. Okay, so here's the mechanics of the Q&A game. So the host will ask a total of 5 questions about PEJ. So total of 5 questions. Whoever answers each question first, as registered in the chat box, will be the winner. Sir, may I ask for your assistance on this
Sure, sir. No problem, sir.
because I am currently on presenter view, so I cannot see who answered correctly first in
Okay,
the
sir.
chat box. Thank you, sir. Then the prize will be a mini auto disinfection sprayer. So this is the mini auto disinfection sprayer. So this will be sent to you if ever you will win, this will be sent to you via courier or will be handed over to you by our solution specialist. So if ever you prefer na i-send namin via courier, you may contact our solution specialist for your address. Okay, so this will be the price. Mini auto disinfection sprayer. Okay, can we start, sir?
Okay, sir.
Okay. For the first question, who is the developer of PEJ? For the first question, who is the developer of PEJ? I believe this was mentioned early in our presentation. We are the exclusive distributor. Logic. Kite is the maintains the platform, and the developer is actually our mother company. That's the tip. The mother company of CE Logic.
Sir, there is a koan. Ano ba tawag nito?
Answer.
Ipa-on daw yung camera mo, sir, para makita daw kano ka.
Sige po, sige po.
Sige, sir.
For a while.
Para mas ma-inspire sila magsagot, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, so we have answer, sir. So the answer
yes,
is CE Publishing. So the first comment.
Yes, sir. Who answered correctly first?
Best Markin, namumuro ka na dyan. Wag ka na dyan. Si Ma'am Catherine Caballero.
Si Ma'am Catherine Caballero.
Yes.
Okay, noted po. Ma'am Catherine, we will flash again our contact number. Please contact us and provide us with your preferred way in giving you our price. So the developer is C&E Publishing. That's correct, ma'am. Okay, let's proceed with to the second question.
Oh my gosh, sir, wait lang. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Is C&E Publishing is the answer, no?
Yes, sir. C&E Publishing.
Pero ang answer kasi ni Ma'am Catherine is CE Logic. Okay lang ba?
No,
okay.
sir. Because...
Dapat under, no? Kasi parang unit lang man yun siya.
Yes, sir.
The developer is C&E Publishing.
Okay.
Yeah, Mama, sir, si Miss Irma
Si Ma'am
Ambalong.
Irma Ambalong, my former mentor from Dumingag. Yehey! Congrats, Ma'am Irma.
Irma Dumalong. Si Ma'am Irma.
Ambalong, sir. Irma Ambalong. I'm really sorry. Okay. Akala hindi ko kasi nakuha yung kuan. Ma'am, sorry. Ma'am Catherine, I'm very sorry. So the winner pala is si Ma'am Irma Ambalong.
Okay. Si Ma'am Irma is currently connected to what institution now, sir?
JH Cerelia State College, Dumingag Campus. Yes, sir.
Okay, sa JH Cerelias. Okay, thank you very much. Congratulations, Ma'am Irma. So, can we proceed with the second question?
Okay, sir.
Second question. True or false? Foreign journals can be indexed in PEJ. Again, true or false? Foreign journals can be indexed in PEJ. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? The answer is false. PEJ is a purely Filipiniana journal collection. Okay, sir? Do you have the correct answer, sir?
Sino ba ang maswerteng mananalo ng house and lot for question number 2? Okay, si Ma'am Rosa. Wait lang, ang bilis ng kuan. Ma'am Rosa Salvacion Bombales. Congratulations, ma'am.
Ma'am Rosa Bombales. Ma'am Rosa, can you comment which institution are you connected so that we can properly endorse you to our solution specialist assigned?
Congrats, ma'am.
Congrats, ma'am.
I think she's from UPLB.
Los Baños. Sige, sir. Thank you. So, again, Philippine journals, the content of it is purely Filipino journals made by Filipinos. Okay? Let's proceed to the third question. Question number 3. How many journals are currently indexed in PEJ? How many journals are currently indexed in PEJ? A. 100 to 200 journal titles. B. 150 to 200 journal titles. C. 200 to 200 journal titles. D. 250 to 280 journal titles. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, sir, do we have a winner? The answer is letter C, 200 to 210.
Sino ba yung ang maswerteng nakasagot ay si Mr. Roji Tabamo. Congratulations, Sir Roji Tabamo.
Sir Roji Tabamo, can you comment your institution? Thank you. So currently, PEJ has 203 journal titles indexed. So currently expanding siya. So that's why the range ko na lang to 200 to 210. But currently, as of the moment, 203. Okay? Sir, can you comment your institution? Thank you very much. So let's proceed to the fourth question. Question number 4. If subscribed, what type of access will be given to the institution? If subscribed, what type of access will be given to the institution? A. Remote access only. B. IP authenticated access only. C. Redemption codes. And D. Both remote access and IP access or IP authenticated access. A. Remote codes only or remote access only. B. IP authenticated access only. C. Redemption codes. Or D. Both remote access and IP authenticated access. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is letter D. Both remote access and IP authenticated access. Okay, sir. Who is our winner?
Our lucky winner is Mr. Ayun, Miss Asmin Galmak.
Asmin Galma.
Galmak.
Si Ma'am Asmin Galma. Ma'am Asmin, can you comment your uh, institution so that we can properly endorse you to our solution specialist who will provide you with the prize? Okay. So congratulations, Ma'am Asmin. The answer is letter D because PEJ will be providing you with both remote access and IP authenticated access. Okay, remote access, anytime, anywhere, they can access it, but they need to have, or users need to have, the login credentials. But for the IP authenticated access, for as long as they are connected to the school Wi-Fi, they will automatically be, or they will automatically have access to PEJ. Okay, let's proceed to question number 5, our last question. How many days is will PEJ how many days is a trial period of PEJ? Trial period of PEJ usually, for other subscriptions, the same. The same answer with other subscriptions. A, 15 days. B, 1 month or 30 days. 1 month or 30 days. C, 7 days. D, 20 days. So, clue, most of the subscriptions will also provide the same number of days. 2 weeks, 1 month, 1 week, or 20 days. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is letter B, 30 days. Sir, who is our winner for the last question?
Um, wait lang sir ha kasi yung hindi ang answer kasi nila is yung
1 month, sir?
hindi kasi letter pero correct naman, wait lang sir. Parang
Sige.
yung number talaga kasi yung in-answer nila. Ang dami nito.
Sorry. Either, sir, letter B or 30
Or
days, that would be
30
alright.
days. Hindi ko na makita sino yung nauna. Ikuan ko na. Letter B, 30 days. Wait lang, sir. Okay, so hindi ko na siya makita kasi sir kung sino yung nauna. Ito na lang. So, walay pagpabor-pabor. Si ma'am. Letter B. Tara. Tang. Ma'am Alma Arevalo.
Ma'am Alma Arevalo. Ma'am Alma, congratulations. So, again, we will provide you with 30 days trial period. If ever you're interested, you just need to contact our solution specialist for a trial access for 30 days. Okay, so I will be flashing to you again our contact details, our contact numbers for you to contact us anytime, especially dun sa mga winners especially, so that we can provide you with the prize. Okay, for those outside Mindanao, you may contact me instead. And for outside Mindanao, Visayas, and Luzon, the winners. And for you from Socsargen area, you may also contact me. For Davao Region and North Mid, Evie and Jade. Okay, that ends our presentation. Thank you very much. We for the 5 winners, we'll be expecting your text. Please text us so that we can properly endorse you to the proper or to the correct solution specialist who will handle your prize. Okay, that ends our presentation and our fun games. Thank you very much, Mastinet. I'm very as Logic and my team. I and my team are very grateful for providing us this opportunity to present our product, which we believe will benefit all of your institutions. It will not only help you with your accreditation, but also in helping our researchers and students in your respective institutions. Thank you very much. I will be returning back the floor to Sir. Thank you very much, Sir.
Thank you, Sir Maxwen,
Thank
sa
you.
mga Pador prizes. Thank you for continuing support for the continuing support for the Maslinet. So let's proceed to the next session. We
Ila. So, paano ba siya? Stop share lang, Sir, no?
yes, sir.
And Sir, okay na, Sir?
Yes, sir. Okay na, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So our next speaker is the senior expert librarian and the information literacy coordinator working at Nazarbayev University Library, Nur Sultan, Kazakhstan, in Central Asia. His programs focus on developing
Ricard, naka-off yung, naka-off yung audio.
sorry. Our next speaker is the senior expert librarian at the Information Literacy Coordinator working at Nazarbayev University Library, Nur Sultan, Kazakhstan, in Central Asia. His programs focus on developing IL modules, integrating IL activities, and library programming and raising MIL awareness in the local setting. He won third place during the first International Information Literacy Contest at Wuhan University, Wuhan, China in 2010. Please help me welcome
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
I'll just share for a while. Give me a moment. I hope I can share. Sir Carlos, can I just share yung slide mismo? Possible yan?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Kasi ang options
Cover portion.
entire screen window tsaka Chrome tab. Okay, nakikita
Entire
ko.
screen.
Nakikita ko. Ayun. So, okay na, sir? Kita?
Yes.
Alright. Alright. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, colleagues from Mindanao. Let me, before I forget, let me say thank you to the officers and members of the Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools Library Network. My sincere appreciation goes to the president, Ms. Winda Cejas, and the co-chair, Dr. Gary Bastida, and my friends there in Mindanao. So thank you for this opportunity. All right, so let me begin. So I was given this topic from research to publication. So I hope that after this seminar workshop, you will be able to start writing something. And I think tomorrow it will be discussed further. All right, so there. So for today's session in this morning, we will try to answer the following.
Sir Joseph?
Yeah, yes.
Excuse me, naka-full screen ka?
Can you see?
No. I can see only the edited or the this.
Ayaw, walang nakita.
Hindi yung full screen.
Ano lang?
Yung buong ano, I mean yung if you want to edit your PowerPoint.
Talaga? Oh, sa akin kasi buong screen. Wait, I don't know why. What? Let me stop it again. And how about this one?
Hindi pa. Pa-click nga yung full screen. Naka-full screen ka?
Naka-full screen ako. Oo, full screen siya sa akin.
Shift. Okay.
Teka. Wait, hold on. Again, let me just try something else. So pag ganito, wait. Eto, anong nakikita ko?
Hindi siya naka-full screen.
Eto, full screen?
Hindi pa rin.
Oh, I don't know why.
Share mo na lang yung buong screen.
Share ko na lang. Sige.
Yung screen 1 out.
Okay, alright. Entire screen na lang?
Yes.
Hold on. Parang nag-hang.
Hello, participants. Please bear with us since there's a technical issue. Advertisement muna tayo. So, bukas pala, no? So, i-announce ko na lang siya ngayon, pero i-announce ko din siya later. Bukas, bago na yung platform na gagamitin natin, which is Zoom. So, later on, in the announcement part of this program, we will post in the chat box the new link for tomorrow's last session. So, I think Sir Joseph is now ready. Ay, nawala si Sir. Okay, I think Sir Joseph is now ready. So, si Ma'am Hanilyn Pastorel, sabi niya, baka pwede i-press ang F5. Baka kayang kuan. Baka may masamang espiritu na sumapi sa laptop ni Sir Joseph. So, let's wait for a while. Sa mga ganitong pagkakataon talaga, di maiwasan ng mga technical difficulties. So, chill muna kayo dyan. Medyo maulan dito sa part ng Pilipinas. Iwan ko lang dyan sa inyo. Masarap magkape, pero walang kape. Pa-award naman dyan, U University Call. Yes, I'm the call center agent ngayon, Bess. Baka may mga kwan kayo dyan. You can call me. Anyways, wala pa din si Sir Joseph. Maghugot na po na siya. Kanta ka muna, sir. No, hindi ako marunong kumanta. Baka kayo dyan, pwede kayong magkuhan dyan. Unsa na part? Nasa Canada ako, Bes. I mean, Canada, guys. Canada, Zamboanga. Joke. Okay. So we will play again the Maslanet video. Kasi nga, memories bring back you. Char. Okay, Sir Joseph is back. So let me introduce again our speaker. He is the expert librarian of Narsabayev University Library, Nur Sultan, Kazakhstan, Central Asia. So please help me welcome again Mr. Joseph Imyap.
Sorry. Hold on.
It's okay, sir. It happens naman talaga sometimes.
Yan, nakikita na.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Finally. Okay. Sorry about that. So, I gave my introduction again. Sorry, and thank you again to the organizers and members of Maslinet. So let's just continue because we just wasted a couple of minutes. So in this session, we will try to answer the following questions, and I hope that after this session, you will be able to start writing, or if you already started, then you might want to continue doing that again. So there are three basic questions to answer. First is, how would you know if your manuscript, probably it was from your thesis before, or you are trying to do something like an evaluative research of your, probably a program in the library? How would you know if it's ready to be published? No? And then what are the possible venues, or where can you publish your manuscript? And then what are the steps needed so that you can publish your paper, or what we call your manuscript? All right. So before writing your manuscript, you should be able to think about the following things. So first and foremost is that um, there are four A's according to Taylor and Francis. And the first one is aims. Your aims. How do you want to further that knowledge in the field? Why do you really want to contribute? Is it because you were asked by your supervisor to do that? Like, napipilitan lang ba? Were you forced to do that? Is it for promotion? Is it for any other thing that you can think of? What is your real purpose of contributing? Is it because you want to solve a problem in the field or in your area of responsibility? So you would like to know what are the gaps in this problem. So you should think of some problems, and sometimes it's difficult to think of a problem, but the problem is already there. So what is your intention of submitting your manuscript? No. Also, when you are submitting something or contributing in the research world, no, it advances your research profile. How many of you has created your LinkedIn profile? How many of you have your ResearchGate profile, or uploaded something or shared something or checking some papers? Sometimes we can find full text PDF articles in ResearchGate, right? So how many of you has created their own ORCID IDs? No. So yun, mga ganun. So by doing this, you are boosting your profile, and also you're helping your institution. It boosts also their reputation. No? So you're giving yourself a space in the academic literature. So ganun siya. Like yesterday, I was just surprised. Someone, I think he is a master's student in Brazil, and he sent me a Facebook message. He said, "Thank you for doing this research," because he read our paper on related to resilience during the pandemic. So it was published in the International Journal of Librarianship by the Chinese American Library Association. So yun. So when you do something, when you're publishing, you are recognized as a researcher by your university. It's either by they give you a recognition or they give you incentives. So yeah. The next one is audience. Who are your audience? Depends kung saan ka magpa-publish. Depends kung what kind of source ito. Is it like a magazine? Is it what kind of periodical? But basically, what you're aiming here is to publish in a research journal. No, so the type of language that you're using depends on the audience. So if you are writing for a peer-reviewed journal article, it would be better to use formal language that is accepted by the scientific and academic community. Of course, there are exceptions when you are trying to do a research related to language or literature. Siyempre, iba, the approach is different, no? Excuse me. So just avoid some redundant languages or yung mga imprecise terms, mga ganon. So the next one is awareness, existing research, or putting or reference reliable sources. So if, let's say, for example, think of a topic, no? So let's say I'm writing something about information literacy, let's say. So would you know the latest trends in this specific area? So if you're writing about cataloging, if you're writing about reference service, would you know the journal titles related in this aspect? So before even writing, you have to check what's available out there. So ganun siya, di ba? What else? Do you know experts in this area? Let's say if you have attended conferences, would you know like conferences specifically, for example, for collection development or for library management or for other areas in librarianship or information science? So ganun. And the final A is articulating. When writing, you follow a certain logical structure, no? And when you write, it should be clear and concise. So ganon, it should be readable and understandable. Sometimes the initial comment of the editor is that when there are mistakes, probably in grammar, so binabalik agad nila because they will say na, oh, this is not ready to be accepted in this specific journal. So, now, question yourself again. Are you ready to write? So if you are a novice librarian, probably you're not thinking about this at the moment, but if you are in your middle career, if you are a professor of library science, or you are a researcher practitioner, then think about how you can contribute further. Now, our contribution doesn't only is not limited in thinking of solutions inside the library. We should also make sure that we communicate it with other people's in our sphere. That's why meron niyang Maslinet, di ba? So that you can collaborate, you can share researches. So when you write, what sometimes we ask ourselves, there is a fear, no? Because probably we're not ready, we are shy. Actually, wag natin masyadong problemahin yung grammar kasi there is somebody who can check naman grammar, no? We can ask professional help. What's important is the content. Of course, eventually, through time, made-develop naman yung writing skills eh. So don't worry about that kasi no one naman is perfect. Even think about how many non-English speakers or learners has a lot of publications out there. For example, there are a lot of Indonesians or Chinese or Vietnamese. But sometimes, ba't natalo pa tayo ng mga ganito? I mean, in a competitive environment, bakit kaya mas marami pa silang publications rather than Filipino librarians who we think we are great librarians, diba? So if we challenge ourselves, why not start doing it now? So what motivates you to write? Again, if we go back, what is your purpose of writing, or what is your purpose of contributing? Now, Wendy Belcher, in her second edition, actually, in her book, Writing Your Journal Article in 12 Weeks. So challenge ourselves. Do we think in 12 weeks we can publish something? So yun yung challenge natin, no? Starting today, the month of May, but you can start in June kasi mag-i-end naman na yung May. Now, this is the plan, no? 12 weeks, and there are 12 tasks. So you can make a table. You can actually do it like from Monday to Sunday and specify the number of hours that you can put in this specific tasks. Now, let's say for task 1, Monday you give 2 hours, and then Tuesday you give nothing, and it's all up to you. For as long as in this task you can do it in a week, but okay, no pressure. It can be more than 12 weeks. Why not? Because sometimes we need more time, diba? So ganon. So isa-isahin natin. For example, task 1, designing your plan for writing. So as a researcher, you do not start by writing agad eh. You read. A researcher reads and writes at the same time. You cannot write something without reading and observing what's happening, diba? So writing, as they say, is social because you communicate it. Yang may scholarly communication, and then after publication, you promote it, and then you upload it in repositories, diba? Ganon. Now, again, the fear. When you start writing, you're thinking, ala, baka ma-reject naman ako. And then, but again, go back. If you're really passionate in doing this, then continue doing it because you have an end, you have a goal at the end. No. So in the week 2, advancing your argument. So you have to make sure that you have a solid argument, that you claim, that you believe these are the things that needed para masagot yung problems, no? So identify these things and then reread again para eventually you can find a lot of related literature and then compile them and then organize them so you can have a good number of sources. In abstracting your article in week 3, you have to check other abstracts too. Sometimes we learn by looking into other people's work, no, not by plagiarism, okay, by just checking how they formatted their work. So there are different kinds of abstract. Some journals may include indicative, some may be what's the other one, descriptive, no, descriptive or different kinds of abstracts. And then on week 4, you select a journal. So later on, I will be providing a list, a number of journals that you can look into and start checking, baka dito nababagay yung yung manuscript ko, because you cannot just submit anywhere, di ba? You need to choose and read the author guidelines and read the scope of the journal, kasi important yan, baka outright rejected, ma-reject ka agad. So on week 5, refining your works cited. Again, you compiled your literature, maybe the current ones from 5 to 10. It depends. The more, mas maganda, mas marami kang arguments na pwede. So again, when you are working on a research, you're trying to solve a problem and you need to find the gaps in literature. So yun. And week 6, you craft your claims for significance. So yun, mag-start ka na, magawa. So, ano naman ngayon? Halimbawa, you found out na ganito. Ano naman ngayon? What will happen? So, is it really a good, what I'm doing is really a good contribution to the society? Parang you question yourself pa, like, and then, on week 7, you analyze naman your evidence. So, based on the results, probably you have your data, and then you have your results, and then you finally, you are confident enough na you are doing or you are in the right path. So ganon. And then you present those results through evidence, and then you strengthen again your structure. And then in opening and concluding your article, you need to look for people who can really check your work. I mean, let's not be shy in asking professional help from colleagues, probably our best friends in the libraries, that they can just also read our work and comment on what we're doing, because probably may input naman sila, before we finally submit it. Because sometimes we think that it's enough already, but it's not. And then try to edit again your sentences or your work, and then you send your article for review of the journal. All right. Now, this is the process of publishing in a journal. So you start with that one, preparing your manuscript if you finish the 12-week process. And then even if it's part, journal selection is also somehow matrabaho, because you have to look for a very specific journal that would accept you. Now, there are many ways on how to do that. Are you aiming to publish in a high-ranking journal, or you want to start first with journals that have a good impact but is not necessarily indexed? Example, there are professional journals out there. They may not be indexed, but they have a high impact too. So it's not a question of it doesn't have a good impact factor. It's not like that. And then you submit it. Submission, there's a system for this. And then peer review process starts, and then proofreading process, and then the publication and promotion. Now, this is the structure of your manuscript, of your paper. Now, we're dealing with descriptive information here. At the beginning, you are trying to submit only your title, the authors, the abstract, and keywords. So make sure now journal publishers look for what contributions each author has managed. Sometimes we're looking for partnerships, for collaboration, and basically they ask already the group, anong contribution ni author A, anong contribution ni author B, ni author C. Hindi, kailangan nakasulat na siya in some journals. Hindi na yung parang, it's a collaborative effort, and then ang dami-dami, what's the contribution of each of them, Then ganon. And then you follow the IMRAD structure. You put your introduction, which answers why are you doing that, what is your research question, and then your methods, how are you going to do that in detail. So if it's a process, then explicitly write them, describe them thoroughly. Ano yung ginawa mo, kung gusto mo each day, what kind of research is this, and then you include the results. Very, very important. Now, this is the evidence you want to show, and then you have to tabulate it, and you put it in different kinds of figures. Of course, maybe readable and clear, hindi naman yung sobrang colorful, and then it's very important to discuss it at the end, not only the results, and then you give your conclusions. Again, very important, and let's not forget your list of references, whether you follow a specific format. Now, when submitting a paper, it's very important. Sometimes I look into the what reference format does the journal check, because sometimes most of the time, I create my research based on APA format, but other journals require MLA. So I have to, again, revise it, just the reference part. And it's a tedious process as well. And now, manuscript preparation. So this tips from a LibGuide from Royal Roads says three different things. No, so the title of the document should be accurately describe your article in keyword searchable. Sometimes, okay, your title and your keyword may be different, but for as long as the title covers the entire or describes the entire manuscript, then it's a good title. It doesn't matter if it's a long title or short, but make sure that the title reads the whole document. Again, don't plagiarize. We are librarians, we are information professionals, and we know exactly that there are ways on how to avoid this, and we practice it wholeheartedly. So make sure all sources are cited correctly. Then ensure that we have necessary copyright permissions. We cannot just grab photos in the internet or somewhere. We cannot just grab graphs or tables. We need to ask permission from the authors. All right, so make sure we do that. And especially that we are librarians, we are here and we are advocates of academic integrity. Currently, that's a practice already. Universities are now into academic integrity, and the librarian is involved in this process as well. All right. Journal selection. You have to understand the aims and scope of the journal. There are journals that only accept theoretical papers, or some journals are only based on practice. So it depends. Some journals only accept qualitative, or some quantitative. So it depends. You have to read the scope of the journal, and probably some journals only accept, as I mentioned, only information literacy, and you're trying to submit something out of it. So it's outright rejection. Then identify if the journal is peer-reviewed. I saw a question a while ago if the PHA is peer-reviewed, something like that. So I think that database, PHA, has not been or is not part of ISI or Scopus. I think my question here is that journal itself, if they applied for an indexing or indexation from specific indexing websites, so ganun, pwede naman nila yun i-submit doon. Depends though. Meron namang criteria for that as well. And then make sure if it's indexed. Sometimes they may not be indexed in Scopus or ISI or Clarivate Analytics, ngayon Clarivate na. But they may be indexed by EBSCO or probably by other LIS indexing groups or organizations. And check also if it is open access. Mas maganda kung open access kasi may wide readership. So, and then check to avoid naman yung mga predatory publishers. So check the editorial board, who is the publisher, and check the author guidelines as well. Now, this is an example, a free one. You can check online. You can do it now. Check Simago Journal and Country Rank. So find Library Information Sciences under Social Sciences. And this data is from 2019. And if you can check, there are 248 LIS journals. So the top one, based on this ranking system, is Big Data and Society, which is open access with SJR 3.2 from UK, United Kingdom, and you can check the list later on. In Southeast Asia, as they say, based on this ranking, the best one is Q2 from Malaysian Journal of Library and Information Science from the University of Malaya, I think, and it's followed by different journal titles, as you can see, and you can also check this later on, read the scope of each journal. All right, now, for example, how to submit. Again, you check the scope of the journal, right? So this is the Malaysian Journal of Library and Information Science. So on the right part, you can see there, submit an article. But before clicking submit an article, read again scope of publication, the submission guidelines, and many other things. All right. Now, In the Philippines, we have our own. It's the Philippine Journal of Librarianship and Information Studies, published by the University of the Philippines. So I would be really happy if by starting tomorrow or the next days ahead, if a Massinet will be able to have its own journal, just like the Parallel Journal or the older one, the ASOP Journal. So, ganyan. So just read, look how authors organize their paper, how authors organize their thoughts. And it's better because as researchers, we have to read and read. Now, in submission, there is a process. Again, read those published papers and observe the structure, again, author guidelines. Sometimes some journals require a cover letter, but as for me, I skip that part. I think it's fine to skip that part. And then review your citations and references, secure copyright clearance, which I mentioned also a while ago, and have someone read your draft. If possible, that we have friends probably we can ask favor from them. Now, if you're familiar, which among these two, because if we're doing citations and references, which among these two, I cannot see the chat box because I'm on I can only see my screen. So the first one, what kind of format is this? And the second one, what kind of format? Maybe I'll just check later on if I have time again. So for this one, for example, a good thing about being a librarian is that you're being invited to be part as a reference editor. So in one of the journals, I was invited to do that, and so we do referencing work. So in this one, the first one is an MLA 8th edition, and the second one is APA 7th edition. Okay, now I'll give you just an idea how we submit manuscripts and how publishers reply to us. No, for example, in this manuscript submitted in 2018, they will just give you a confirmation that your manuscript is submitted and you're given a manuscript ID. So you can check the status later on. So you see it was submitted in June of 2018. Now, this is the whole process. You submit an article, and then the article is being assessed by the editor, and then the editor would look at it. Is this okay or not? Actually, they can reject it immediately. And then if it's okay, they will send it to reviewers, and then the reviewers will check your work. And then they will say if revisions are needed or not. And then if they're going to reject also that one, or if you go to the next step, then it's either you get minor revisions or major revisions, and then before it's being sent to the production team, and then eventually the publication. Now, there are different types of peer review. First, a single blind review, where reviewer's name is hidden from the author. Now, and then double blind, both of them doesn't know each author. All right. Now, in sample peer review criteria, it's either you get accepted, or you revise, or you're rejected. So sample, this is just a sample of a scoring scale for peer reviewers. Let's say your work is satisfactory, you get an A-, and then there's the description of why they gave this. Sometimes they put all the comments needed for you to revise. So even if you're rejected, that's also good because at least they gave you some comments. No, and then recommendation. Sometimes it's very, very rare that you get a result with no revision. Very, very, very rare. Napakagaling mo nun. And then accept revisions with final approval by editor or by the reviewer, and many other things. Or just submit it another journal. Now, this is the decision. So we were given a chance to submit it again with minor revision, so we need to revise it again. This is just an example of a rejection. And again, it's okay. It's okay to be rejected. It happens. Sometimes probably there are themes or there are topics that may not be suitable for a certain publication, and it happens sometimes. Probably there was a miscommunication or misleading words. Probably that's why it happens. No? And then it goes to proofreading. So you get to check the proofs. Again, when you are already accepted, then there comes a time that you need to do the proofreading. So the publisher sends you in detail the things that you need to read again. Make sure author details are correct, because once published, you cannot change it anymore. and then when it's published, then you are given some free e-prints sometimes, and then you get to promote them. So how do you promote it? You can promote it in your social media through LinkedIn. You blog about it or send to your professional friends, and then post in your institutional repository. So for example, the reference librarian, it's if you want to check its availability online, then just go to Sherpa Romeo, which is a database of open access publications. Then you can see there that this one reference librarian is has different kinds of licenses, and then has no embargo, and is published immediately, free in open access. And in the journal information, you can see there that it follows a green open access, allowing authors to upload the accepted one in the institutional repository. The reason why I'm giving this screenshot is because you need to check journal information first before uploading anything in your institutional repository to avoid any copyright infringement. All right, now, so we are almost done. So again, publishing an article is a win-win situation. No? Your published research promises to improve our quality of life and gives us a better understanding of the world we live. So your contribution is recognized, and it's becoming part of your own scholarly output. So I hope that one of you or all of us eventually in the future can submit something or can publish something. No? So if your manuscript gets approved, then you can finally read your own research, and of course it's a happy feeling. So, and if it gets rejected, it's okay. You can use the reviews again and revise your paper, and at least that feedback will improve your article, no, to make it better. And then you get to increase your chance of being accepted in a good journal. So tips to make your article publishable: avoid extensive quotations. Parang di ka na nagsulat eh. You just get different quotes from different articles. So avoid that one. Cite recent literature, but it depends on the kind of research. No, if it's about history, of course, you cannot do that. So it all depends naman. Cite multiple sources if possible, because you need some good arguments, and then cite relevant literature, detail your methodology, and provide evidence. These are my references. Thank you for listening, and you can follow me in different platforms. And thank you. If you have questions, we can do it now.
Thank you, Sir Joseph, for that sweeping presentation. No? So Sir Joseph had already given us, no, all the means how to publish our research paper. So librarian participants, no, it's about time. Now we should do something with our research. Okay, so any questions for Sir Joseph? Hello, participants. Any questions? If you have questions for our speaker, please use our chat box, and we will accommodate all your questions. Any? Sir, there's a question. What are the struggles, no, you experience while trying to publish your research paper?
Many different aspects or levels, siguro. No? Siguro one struggle when the publisher or when the journal doesn't reply immediately, and it happened to me. For example, we submitted in a journal way back 2018, and until now, it's like they replied, but they don't know when they're going to publish it. They accepted it actually, and eventually we decided to just get out of this publication process and withdraw our paper because nothing happens. So I think that's one of the struggle too. I don't know if they are sincere with us in accepting our work, but we, because there are a group of people involved, so my co-authors and I decided to just withdraw the paper and submit it to another one. Until now, they never replied with a withdrawal email, so I don't know what will happen, because in the system, the journal system, there is no way to withdraw the paper. The only way to communicate with them is through email. So they always promise us that they will, yes, it will be published soon like this, but nothing happened. So I think we have the right to withdraw our paper. So that's one struggle. No audio, Sir Carl.
Another question, sir, is can we defend our paper after peer review process?
Can you defend your paper
Oh,
after peer review process? So
yes, sir.
after the peer review process, they will send their comments. No, so when they send their comments, then you have a time frame to follow. Time frame to follow on when you need to submit again your revision. And in this time, uh, given time, so you need to revise everything based on the comments of the reviewers, and that this is also the moment for you to defend. Probably you can write there some comments, because you can answer their comments. If you do not agree with the reviewers comments, you can also write it down, and actually some researchers are gain victory in this one, but others just comply with the comments of the reviewers to satisfy their needs.
Thank you, sir. Another question is how to spot predatory journals, and or is there a list of predatory journals that can be found online?
Yeah. So previously, there was a librarian, Mr. Bill, who compiled a list of laboratory journals. But I think um, he retracted his list, but there are other people who was able to gain access in the previous version. So they created the list again, recreated the list again, actually by simple searching. You can find this list, not only predatory journals, but predatory conferences as well. Now, just to make sure if the journal is not predatory, I always suggest or recommend to, if you have access to Web of Science or Scopus or some other journal, right, then I think that's the best way to find out if the journal is predatory or not. No? Yung mga ganong klase. Or if it's a professional journal, then I think there is no reason, or published by a university, then there's no reason that it should be predatory.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Another question from Ma'am Catherine Caballero. How to publish to ISI or Scopus journal publications? What are the parameters to consider so that our paper will be accepted, especially in ISI or Scopus index?
Thank you, Miss Catherine. So I elaborated already, no, say if we follow Miss Belcher's 12-week program, then pwede naman yun. First select, so if you are really aiming of publishing in an ISI index or Scopus journal, so select first the journal, kung saan mo gusto mag-publish. After selecting that journal, read the author guidelines and check kung ano yung how the authors are writing their own work in this kind of journal. So you have to observe first, check the structure, and then if you are really ready, of course, it is open. A researcher can do anything he wants or he or she wants, diba? But it's all up to you. If you think your paper follows a logical format, you answered everything in detail, starting from your questions down to your results, then and you're confident enough to submit your work, then everybody of us has this chance of publishing our own work. Naman, open naman yan for everybody, diba? We just need to try. Okay.
So, another anonymous question, sir. Is there such a term, predatory conferences?
Yeah, there are predatory conference, and sometimes it's really scary, no? Um, they work like predatory journals. They are, before there is this conference. But right now, this conference, because it gained popularity already and they have a good number of people coming from different academic institutions, so they were delisted already in this list of predatory conference. But there are still predatory conference, and they seek a lot of conference fees. And I don't know, once you submit it, sometimes it's very easy. You submitted your manuscript or your proposal, and just after very few days, you're accepted already. This is not a good indication of a proper conference. So be very, very careful. So it's better to look first and then judge for yourself. We have our own evaluation skills as librarians, right? So use that very well.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Any other questions, participants? Um, so if none, uh,
No
let's
more.
no more. So let's proceed to the awarding of Certificate of Appreciation to our esteemed speaker. Thank you, sir. So allow me to read the citation. Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools Library Network through Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Joseph M. Yap in recognition and appreciation of his invaluable contribution as resource speaker during the Maslinet 6th General Assembly meeting and seminar workshop with the theme Contactless User Services for SUC Libraries with a Union Catalog. The role of research librarians in innovating and securing resources for knowledge development during a pandemic, held on 18th May 2021 via WebinarJam. Thank you so much, Sir Joseph, and hope to see you again here in the Philippines. Or
Thank you. Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.
stay safe, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir, I need to refresh the browser and
Okay.
make a new room. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
We'll just wait for the others to come in.
Okay,
All right. Can you
sir.
hear me clearly, sir? Can you hear me
Okay,
clearly?
sir.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. We'll proceed with the next presenter.
So we're now in our third and last session for today. So our
Go ahead, sir.
hello, sorry everyone, because of technical difficulty. So our next presenter is has enjoyed a career in academic and research libraries spanning 28 years and is currently designated as program head of the BLIS program and a former director of libraries at the University of Southern Mindanao, Cabacan, Cotabato for almost 20 years. As director, she has full responsibility for leading and directing all aspects of library services of the University Libraries Network of 6 college-based libraries at the main campus and branch libraries in Cadapawan City and USM Libungan campus. She was the first president of the Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools Library Network or MASLINET with 33 member institutions established in year 2014. Dr. Sornito is also the past president of Cotabato Libraries Network or COLINET, former president of Plysoc Sargent, Vice President for Fly Mindanao, and Chair of the House of Delegates for year 2017 and 2018 of the Fly National. Her research interests include green library, library management, leadership and information literacy, learning spaces, user behavior, resource sharing, and networking. She is currently serving as Associate Professor for at the College of Engineering and Information Technology, Department of Computing and Library Information Science, and designated Deputy Quality Management and Quality Management Representative of USM ISO 9001:2015 certification. Lead accreditor of AACOP in the area of library, a recipient of Citation Award as Program Specialist, Outcomes-Based Quality Assurance Program Instrument, BLIS Program Copyright Certificate and Registration, number 0201522249, and awarded as Outstanding Academic Librarian, Mindanao in 2017. Given by the Philippine Association of Academic and Research Libraries or POAR, an outstanding accreditor in 2018 given by the AACOP. It is my honor to present to you our last speaker for today, Dr. Anita B. Sornito.
Let's discuss for later the full another method. But right now I will give a heads up that I will on other reasons. Then you will have it's required to have gathered properly. So that's why we are going to practice. So we'll call the things that help that like our
Hello everyone. We're still fixing the audio difficulty of our speaker, so please stand by for a while as we're about to fix the issue. Thank you so much. Stay in a while as we fix the audio difficulty of our speaker. Very sorry for another challenge in this webinar. The speaker will be giving her presentation now live para ma-fix na yung audio problem. So just chill right there sa mga offices nyo. Yung mga kumain na kayo habang nagkikinig sa ating speaker. Yung wala pang lunch, mag-order na kayo sa Food Panda. Sa Food Panda talaga. So the speaker has now joined the room. So I think the speaker is now ready. Ma'am? Sometimes we really cannot avoid technical glitches, no? Lalo na nga yung masama yung panahon, medyo maulan talaga, kulimlim. So, mas lalong humina yung internet connection natin. So, just stay chill right there, participants. This is our last topic for today. Kung di pa kayo nakakabili ng lunch, mag-order na. Okay, so we'll proceed to the announcement. So tomorrow, because of the technical difficulty of our third speaker for today, so the group decided that the speaker will present tomorrow, the same time in the morning. So for now, let's wait for the announcement because there will be some changes for tomorrow's last session. So we will be posting the new link for tomorrow. So please check the chat box. So one of the Maslinet officers will post the link for tomorrow now, and please copy it. And we will use that link for tomorrow's last session. And then please be reminded that those participants who are not official members of the Maslinet, after the 2 sessions tomorrow, you will get out of the Zoom platform, because after the 2 sessions tomorrow, there will be a General Assembly meeting and election of officers, exclusive only for the Maslinet members. So, but don't worry, we will announce it again tomorrow after the 2 sessions. So, nakapost na po ngayon yung link for tomorrow's session. Nandiyan na yung meeting ID at yung passcode. No? Yun naman yun ang pinaka-importante, yung meeting ID at passcode. Copy it and paste it kung saan nyo yan siya i-paste para madali na lang ninyong ma-retrieve for tomorrow. So, Zoom na po tayo tomorrow. Yes, the link will be... Sir, can you copy and paste the link?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. And then, Mr. Mr. Jose, yun po yung link for tomorrow, sir. But we will try to send the links to sa mga, the link to the emails. But then, if hindi makaya, so copy and paste nyo na lang po yung meeting ID at saka passcode natin. The meeting ID is 825-1450-4545. I repeat, meeting ID is 825-1450-4545. Passcode is 189074. 189074. Yun lang po ang kailangan ninyo bukas para sa ating third day session. Kung may mga tanong pa kayo, please, I'm checking the chat box right now. Kung may tanong pa kayo para bukas. So, naka-post na po yung link. We will also post the link in our group page. Visit our group page in Facebook, Mas Lynette. Those from non-Mindanao participants, we will try to post the links publicly in Facebook para makita nyo din ito. Kasi parang feeling ko yung group po ng Mas Lynette is naka-private po siya, yung setting niya. But we will try to, we will not try. We will post the link publicly on Facebook right after the session. So if you have followed Simply Hired Librarian, we will post it there too, and other Facebook groups kung saan makita ng mga non-librarians or non-Mindanao participants. 9 a.m. pa rin po ba mag-start? Yes po, sir. 9 a.m. pa rin po. Ay, yes po, ma'am. Sorry. 9 a.m. I know there is a may bagong development. 8:30 na po daw yung start ng, kasi para makater pa yung dalawang speakers. So 8:30 po tayo bukas. So agahan po yung mga breakfast natin. Agahan din natin yung pagising para hindi tayo ma-late sa third and last session natin. So, I will now post we will now see a presentation. These are the officers of the Mas Lynette for the past 2-3 years, and this will be the last term of all the officers. And tomorrow, a new breed of officers will ano ba tawag nito? Will come in and be the next leaders of Mas Lynette. Okay, so our president is Dr. Wenda Bisejas from the University of Southeastern Philippines, Tago Mabini Campus. Secretary Dr. Gary Basteda. Treasurer Ma'am Maida Santos. Auditor Ma'am Priniel Austral. PIO, yours truly. Region 9 Representative Sir Julius. Region 10, Ma'am Hazel Tomapon. Region 11, Ma'am Pulina Baba. Region 12, Ma'am Betty Sejas. ARM, Ma'am Hadja Putli. Ex-official member, Dr. Anita Sornito. And our consultant, our very own librarian from the UP Mindanao, Dr. Brescio Merced. We would like also to thank the people behind the Regalo Touching Lives. Without them, this 3-day session will not be made possible. Thank you so much to Mr. Carlos Eclevea. Sir Caloy, thank you so much. To Sir Kenneth, to Sir Marky, and to all the members of the RTL team, thank you so much. So if none, let's call it a day, and we will see you again tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. So don't forget, Zoom na po tayo bukas. So the meeting ID is 825-1450-4545, passcode 189074. So this has been your moderator for the day, Carl Joseph C. Borlat of ZPPSU. You will have your new moderator for tomorrow. Goodbye, stay healthy and safe, everyone. Annyeong.